Boom. Okay. Cool. Hey guys. Good morning from beautiful New York City. Hey Lego, Maga. Thanks for joining. I love the names here. Let's switch it around. All eyes on me. Guys, to web hosting change objections and how to dissolve them. I come across so many blogs these days where the individuals obviously needs to change. JDK, thanks for joining. Need to change hosts because the site's down half the time, or Chris, thanks so much for joining, or the site is just painfully slow, and you know that you could only build a rocking blog when people could visit the frickin' blog. Hey, what's up, Joe? Thanks for joining, man. Donna, thanks so much for joining. So there's two objections. It's a web hosting change. If you have to change hosts, and you know you have to change hosts because your site is slow. Good morning, Chris. It's down. Good morning, Donna. Down more often than it's up, or not even down more often than it's up, but it's just down a lot. Like if you stop by 3-4 times a day and you're seeing, okay, my site's down, it's just insane. Your site should be up 99.999% of the time. Virtually close to 100% of the time. That's the type of host you want to go with to actually create this type of blog and brand that's both professional, trustworthy, all that good stuff. But there's two web hosting change objections, and I know I experienced them myself many, many eons ago in a galaxy far, far away, that most people cling to, that they cower to. JDK, thanks so much for joining. Again, I think, right? Thanks for your eyeballs. And one is, and you're going to hear Callie in the background, this is how I roll here. One is, I can't afford it. Margarita, thanks for joining. I can't afford to pay more than $3 a month, or $5 a month, or even $7, but especially like $3-4 a month, because a lot of these big box hosts, they get you in there and they're super cheapy packages. Then maybe 5 minutes, or 5 months, or 5 years, probably not though, more like 5 weeks, down the road you start seeing that your site's down all the time, or that it's loading really slowly, and you're like, oh my god, this host is really bad. Oh, now I get it. They make it $3 a month. So, Nigel, thanks so much for joining. They make it $3 a month, so then they could overload servers, and I get a good deal, but then my site's down most of the time. Or it's down way too much of the time, or it's super duper slow. So basically, the first objection is you say you can't afford to upgrade to a premium host where you're paying like $10, $15, $20 a month, so your site's up all the time, and you say, I just can't afford it. And I say to you, okay, no problem. Thanks so much for the like, Donna. Then I'll say you can't afford to be a successful blogger. Right? Because if you cling to a crappy host, one of the strangest things we do as human beings, and especially human beings in general, but bloggers, is we rationalize what we can't afford or what we can't do, and that rationalization is the exact reason, and you're clinging to it or you're cowering to it, why you're struggling. It's like you're jailing yourself, but then you literally have the keys to unlock the door. Raul, thanks so much for liking. If you'll just say, okay, I'm going to not cower to that objection, or I'm going to dissolve it, or I'm going to not even challenge it, but just realize, hey, I got to pay up to play up. So really, guys, you cannot afford not to upgrade your hosting. Otherwise, you'll run a cyber diary. You'll never make money through it. And again, if this is just a hobby, that's fine. But most people, if you're tuning into this video, it's not just a hobby. You want to grow it into something. You got to nut up. You got to pay up. So that's really an easy way to just look at it and be like, okay, I'll never, ever grow this into something I want to grow it into until I pay more money to send off a professional image. And a lot of times you'll look at top blogs, or even like mid-level blogs, or even maybe like newbie bloggers who hopped in the game, but they're doing things right from day one energetically and presentation-wise, and you'll see that they have a pretty quick loading blog. It's up almost all the time, and you realize the impression that makes on folks. Oh my god, I cut myself. Don't worry, it wasn't an attempt. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's insane how folks rationalize these things, and I did it myself. But a web hosting change, people say, I got to change your hostings down. You know it yourself. Just say, I cannot afford not to. So upgrade, do what you got to do. You have no money, get a credit card, get a part-time, whatever you got to do. Just do it. So that's number one. Number two, really huge objection. Folks like, okay, I'll do the change, but I'm just absolutely intimidated and overwhelmed with actually going through the logistics of changing web hosts. Right, Callie? and you'll feel so overwhelmed, then how will I do it myself? And then people just explain it away and say, you know what, I can afford it, it's no problem, or not I can afford it, but I'll pay, I don't care about that, but just the technical side of it just seems like such a pain in the ass. And from what I've heard, it is. So it's a long, it's time consuming. Then there's also this energy there. I guess this is objection 3, but it's kind of objection 2. As well, it's, oh, my site's going to be down for a day or 3 days or 4 days or who knows how long. That's awesome, Chris. No downtime issues. That's good, man. And any of that stuff and speed issues. Really, really good. Hey, as you get more successful and more folks start flowing in, then you're definitely probably going to have to get if you don't have a CDN and all that good stuff. But we'll see. Over time it will happen. And for almost everybody, you got to upgrade eventually, unless you start with like a high-end, more premium package, because it's just, we grow. So, but that's good, Chris. That's a good thing. Silvana, thanks so much for joining. But the second objection is basically, I don't want my site to be down for a long time, and I just don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it, and it's really easy. Pay money to hire someone, or have someone that maybe owe you a favor, or that you could do it yourself through YouTube. And I know that's more of a pain in the butt, perhaps. But if you're really, 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 that's good. $11.95, that's awesome, Chris. Yeah, see, it's like $12 a month, so it's like out of that range of like $3 a month, where it's just nightmares so many times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's okay, but usually I've just seen that over the long haul that folks really run into issues with that. So if you really say, okay, I just don't want to change hosts because it's too much of a pain, you just have to ask yourself, what happens if I stay with this same host? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes these things we rationalize and we look at it and we're like, what happens if I stay with the same host and my site's down a fair portion of the time or it loads really slowly? My site takes like 40 seconds to load. It's like, where am I going with that? So if I'm thinking it through, wouldn't it make sense to just hire someone to handle it for me, to go on to Fiverr, or maybe like a higher end, I'm like hot and sweaty here, maybe like a higher end network, or if your friend network, you have a developer there, just outsourcing it. Or if you really wanted to go bare bones, it's not that it's something that's totally complex as much as it's something that just is more time consuming, but just outsource it, because it's so worth it to outsource it and to have your site be down for maybe a day or a couple days as the files are being transferred between hosts, than it is for the rest of your blogging career, or for the next week, even for the next day, or the next day, okay, I'll be down, but for the next week or for the next month or for the next year, to stay with a crappy host. Guys, you cannot rock out your blog and build it how you want to build it if you're with a cruddy host. And the warning signs, 2 of the biggest ones, are just your site's down. It's not up 99.9% of the time. It's not up virtually all the time. That's one warning flag, because there's no leeway here. I mean, good hosting sites where you're paying 10, 15, 20 bucks a month, they're going to be up, most cases, virtually all the time. And that's how they should be, because it's your cyber real estate. This is your blog. And even if it's not your livelihood, it should be up virtually, literally almost all the time. And then number 2, it's those site the speed, the loading speed. And of course there are other factors like your theme, having a CDN, and this is something we'll get into maybe in future videos. Just in general, I've always said you gotta, always for the past couple of months, now for a while, I've said now, gotta have that CDN, because as those images add up on your blog, you want to host them off your blog, your site server, so you speed things up. And of course as your traffic increases as well, eating up that bandwidth. So these are things you think about down the road, but don't make this silly mistake, and it's just so silly, of rationalizing that I can't afford it, so I'm just going to keep with this really crappy loading site, the site that's not up a fair amount of the time every day, or my site's going to be down for too long. It's like, well, I can't think of the saying, what is it, the forest for the trees, when like you're thinking, okay, my site's going to be down for 2 or 3 days, and I have to hire someone. It's like, okay, hey, a deal. What's up, man? Good evening. So it's one of those deals where, and thanks so much for joining S, that's what I'll call you. If you could just rationalize through those objections, and they're all fear-based, okay, it's something I can't afford not to do, to upgrade, so I'm going to pay up and upgrade. And then number two, I'm going to outsource the job to someone via Fiverr or via whatever network you're using, or just, web developer, designer, or more developer, I would say, that would handle the tech aspect of it. And just thinking it through, it's like, okay, I'm afraid it's going to be down, this objection, 2 or 3 days, and it's just such a major league job, and it's like, what's the alternative? Really, in both cases, the alternative is staying with a site, just a crappy host, a host that's just not working for you any longer, and they're not meeting your needs. So if you stay with them, you'll never grow. And they're not tricky, really. I mean, they're painfully obvious to see, but sometimes you need to see a video, and even see a super simple video, well, all my videos are. When you think it through, thanks so much for sharing, Adil. When you think it through, it makes perfect sense, but I share a simple video like this because sometimes you need to see things more in the light of truth of okay, I've been resisting that web host change. Most of you guys, you're, well on your way, but there's so many bloggers. There's legions, armies, and I'm just seeing more and more as my presence expands, folks that are commenting on my blog. I check out their blogs, maybe leave a comment or connect with them, and I'm like, oh my God, it just took me 3 minutes for this page to load. I don't have to stick around for that long, but sometimes I do, just when I'm doing other stuff, and I have their page opening and maybe I'm visiting another blog, and I'm like, I just took 3 minutes, or their site's down, or it's down more often than it's not. I've checked a few times now, and it just crashes, and it's it's a terrible host. So these folks, usually, it's the money objection, I can't afford it. I'm like, well, obviously, if you're commenting on my blog and sharing your thoughts, and especially for people I want to build a blog, I have no traffic, well, how about paying for a premium hosting service so your blog's actually up? You probably don't have as much traffic because your site's down so much, or because it's slow and people don't tolerate this. I don't care how energetically clear you are. If you have a freaking Christ mind level of energetic clarity, it's you'll need that level to be able to do anything online remotely successful, or what you deem successful. That's traffic, grow a community, boost those comments. You'd need that level of miraculous level of clarity to do it with a blog on a really cruddy host. So this is just a reminder video, guys. So we're going to bounce out. Call to action. Hey, Cosmo, thanks so much for joining, bro. Good to see you, man. And thanks so much for joining. Fitzer. So I'll have to address you, Periscope friends, by your handles, which is just funny. I don't know, I just find it very funny. But then again, I'm wearing a Gizmo shirt. So guys, the call to action. Stop by bloggingfromparadise.com and sign up for my email list. Give you helpful tips to really get that excitement going, to boost your blog traffic and profits. And then also, when you're there, why don't you buy one of my ebooks? Click the ebook link in the upper portion of the page. Yeah, it is bright light. Bright light, bright light. Oh, I thought you meant outside. Oh, I see you, Chris. You got it. Exactly. Good Mogwai reference. We all need those on a nice Saturday morning. Good morning, Mana. Fortunately, I'm bouncing out right now. But you could watch the replay, and everything should have went smoothly. Just going to pop out and grab a little breakfast here. Kelly and I and Cooper had our lovely morning walk through Central Park, which was so much fun. But guys, this one it's a simple one, but it's so many bloggers I see, they're struggling, and this is the crux of it. They're doing other things, quote unquote, right. Or they're doing things from that energetic place of clarity, the message is there, the connecting, but it's like building your blog on it's like building a house on a foundation of sand. It's like if you're with a poor host and the site's not up, your blog's not up, virtually all the time, it loads really slowly, they're overloading the servers, and that's that. So guys, go with the good host. Again, you can't afford not to pay up for premium hosting. And really, in essence, you can't afford not to outsource to someone or think, oh, my site's going to be down 3 or 4 days, or it's going to be a pain in the butt job for this person. Well, how about your site being consistently down for the next 5 years? Right? It's kind of silly when you think about it. That's it for today. Stop by bloggingfromparadise.com. Buy an ebook or two to help you with your blogging struggles. Or, if you're coming from the high energy place right now, to really get excited about building that traffic, boosting your online rep, get in the comments, making more money through your blog, building a blog on the fundamentals. And that Blogging from Paradise library, of course, is on Amazon. Until next time, you know what to do. Thanks so much, Mana, Cosmo, Adil, Chris, other folks on Periscope, Silvana, Naja. Really appreciate the love. You know what to do. Enjoy Paradise.